The black Opel staff car pulled into the driveway just after lunch. It was a quiet October afternoon in Herrlingen, a village tucked among the hills of southern Germany. Leaves scattered across the stone path. The air was still. Inside the house, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, hero of the Africa Corps, the Desert Fox, stood at the window, watching two generals step out of the car. He already knew why they'd come. He fastened his tunic, kissed his wife, Lucy, and looked his son in the eyes. Then he stepped outside to meet his executioners. Rommel had once been Germany's greatest field commander, bold, charismatic, respected even by the Allies. His lightning-fast campaigns in North Africa became legend. His soldiers adored him. Churchill himself had praised his brilliance. But by 1944, everything had changed. Rommel had returned from Africa a wounded man, both physically and spiritually. He'd begun to see the war for what it truly was. The Eastern Front had become a graveyard. Cities were burning, millions were dying, and Hitler, once viewed with loyalty, now raved in paranoid fury. That summer, whispers of rebellion spread through the officer corps. Plans were being drawn. A bomb would be placed beneath the conference table at the Wolf's Lair, Hitler's command post in East Prussia. If the tyrant died, perhaps the war could be ended. Perhaps Germany could be saved. Rommel didn't plant the bomb, but he knew about it, and he didn't report it. After the failed July 20th plot, Hitler's wrath was swift. Mass arrests, torture, executions by piano wire, names were gathered, files compiled, and Rommel's came up, too often to ignore. But Hitler hesitated. Rommel was a national icon, a war hero. Executing him publicly could backfire. So a different solution was arranged. A silent one. On October 14th, 1944, the generals brought a message. Rommel could stand trial for treason. He would be humiliated, found guilty, and hanged like the others. His wife and son might suffer, his legacy destroyed, or he could take his own life, a quiet death, a hero's funeral, protection for his family. Rommel listened. He didn't argue. He asked for a few minutes. He told Lucy nothing. He hugged his son, Manfred. Then he got in the car. They drove a short distance to a wooded path near the village of Herrlingen. The car stopped. Rommel stepped out. One of the officers handed him a small, unmarked vial. He nodded, uncapped it, and drank. The poison worked fast. Within seconds, Rommel collapsed to the ground. His body twitched, then went still. He was 52 years old. An hour later, German radio announced that the field marshal had died of wounds from an earlier air raid. State newspapers published grand obituaries. Hitler sent condolences. A full military funeral followed in Ulm. Thousands gathered, flags flew, the lie held. For years, the truth was buried, spoken only in whispers among survivors. It wasn't until after the war that Rommel's fate was revealed. The man who had served Hitler had refused to die for him. Rommel had not joined the Nazi Party. He had not committed atrocities. He had refused to execute Jewish civilians, had disobeyed scorched earth orders, had demanded humane treatment of POWs, and he had believed, quietly, that Germany's only hope was to remove Hitler. He was no saint, but he had drawn a line, and he had paid the price. Today, a modest grave lies beneath a pine tree near Herrlingen. There's no swastika, no mention of betrayal or glory. Just a name, Erwin Rommel Field Marshal, born 1891, died 1944, killed not by a bullet, but by truth. Thank you for listening to Last Post History. Subscribe for more true stories from the world at war.